Hello, and welcome back to the channel. What's up, guys? Hadouken here, Monster Trading, bringing you update and my point of view on the markets, how I'm going to trade it, and when do I plan to exit the markets. Based on what I see, of course, nothing is set in stone, which means it can vary. So we have to be flexible and trade the market as it comes. But as for now, the plan is still the same. Okay, be ready for the final leg, and that final leg is very, very close. I don't think it surpasses November this year. Okay, by November, I think it's the end. So forget December, forget this 4-year cycles, forget Bitcoin at $1 billion. It's not gonna happen in this lifetime. Okay, I pray to God I'm wrong, and the bull run actually lasts for another year, but it doesn't seem likely. Okay, so remember, this is not a financial advice. I'm only bringing my point of view just to get the info out to you, and you do the best you can. For sure, do your research to make your own plays. Okay, now let's get into it. Bitcoin weekly chart. Few things I see. Okay, from the bottom, first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, and we need the fifth one. Okay, so that's why I still believe we have one more leg up. All right, now what's wrong with the charts? What's wrong with the charts is the weekly momentum in the stochastics RSI is coming down. The RSI has lost the 50 level, and the histogram is coming down, which means all signs points to bearish. Okay, so why am I sticking to that final leg up still? I'll explain. Notice the histogram. Okay, this will become a bit more clearer projection when I go visit the Bitcoin dominance chart. Okay, but let me explain this on the Bitcoin. So what I foresee here is going to happen is the histogram coming down, touching the zero level, maybe go a little bit above below it, just fake out, and then cross above again, make a second hill, double top. But notice what I'm about to draw on here is this. Okay, let's change the color, make it red so we see it properly, and I'm gonna, Jesus, there we go, that's the one, make it bold. The next top is gonna be a lower high than the previous top. Okay, while the price is actually making a higher high. My targets for Bitcoin are setting anything between 85 and 95. I don't think it has the capacity to go up to 100k, but if it did, my target would have to be 115, 120. That's it. Okay, that's my max target, and that's what I see. That's why I'm sticking to the final leg up. Okay, now what corroborates my theory is the S&P. Okay, it's the same thing is happening with the S&P. Now this has already entered the distribution phase. What I see on the S&P is the fact that it's going to go slightly higher. Okay, slightly higher, maybe 10 to 20% move depending on where it goes from, but a 10 to 20% move is likely. I would say about 6,050 to 6,200 points. That's the maximum I see the S&P. That would give the strength to the crypto market to go up as well, because in this phase there is market euphoria and all the participants are getting involved. Okay, because there's a lot of greed in the final phase. All the money flows in. All these small caps, they just blast and go from $2 to like 20, stuff like that. We don't know what stocks, what penny stocks we're gonna do that, or what crypto is gonna go from $2 to $60. We don't know. Some projects will, not all of them. Some of them will, but that usually happens at the final phase. Okay, but main thing to take into account is the fact that S&P is already in the distribution phase. Okay. Now, one thing extra that comes into my theory is the Bitcoin dominance. Okay, usually in this final leg of Bitcoin, what happens is dominance falls, so the altcoin market takes the show, right? So right now, this thing is making a head and shoulders pattern, which is absolutely bearish. Let me see if I can find that thing to draw. Head and shoulders, there we go. Head, right shoulder, and this should come down. Okay, that's what I see happening. Now this has been drawn for God knows how long, and it has played out the fractal. So far so good. So my drawings have been that way. But this is a weekly chart. Okay, notice on the histogram, see that bearish divergence that I was talking about in Bitcoin. Okay, this is being projected here, and this is being extended. Okay, and it goes back to 2023, which means it's a whole year of bearish divergence being formed. Okay, so that during that time the altcoins have been bottoming out. So it's going to be the opposite of what they're going to do to Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance drops. Bitcoin, money from Bitcoin will flow into the altcoins, and when it's time for Bitcoin again, it will go and make an all-time high. Barely. Remember, my target is 80 to 85. But you can see on the weekly chart here, this histogram is going up, but price has been going up for a year. Histogram has not been able to keep up with it. Now that's exactly what I'm expecting on Bitcoin. Okay, so that's why I think Bitcoin is going to go up, but not just yet. I do think it needs a bit of time. So by November, usually, because see, when it comes time for the elections, short-term economy is actually very important. So that's why I think by November, for the election time, this thing is going to be almost done. Okay, I don't think it has the strength to go up another year, because we saw the Bitcoin dominance extended for a year in bearish divergence. That's not a healthy sign for Bitcoin. Okay, it's a healthy sign for the altcoin market, but not for long-term projection on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin hasn't got that dominance anymore, which means it hasn't got the strength to go up anymore. It does have to let go of that market cap, and if the money is going to come out of it, market makers are going to want to make money, because they don't like their money sitting there just collecting dust. So they're going to be investing in altcoins. But when they're given up, they're just going to take their money out in cash and just wait for an opportunity to buy Bitcoin. Okay, because that's a weekly chart we're talking about. Weekly takes months to recover. Okay, it's not just from one day to the next. It's not 10 days. It's not a month. It's actually 3 to 6 months of recovery. Okay, that's why I think Bitcoin is in its final leg, and I don't think it breaks and sits above 100K. Okay, so be cautious if you see social media notifications saying Bitcoin is going to go to 300K, or Kathy Woods comes out and says it's going to go to about 800K. It's not. They just want you to lose your money. Okay, what I'm saying is based on the charts. If I'm wrong, my chart reading is wrong, but there's a 70% chance that I'm right. Okay, so I can go with that probability. Okay, and that I can live with. But if I have to answer to social media, that's not a healthy sign. I'm only going to lose my money. Okay, and I don't want that to happen to decent folks putting in their hard-earned cash. Okay, so do your research, watch other YouTubers as well, but don't let anyone misguide you into greed, saying it's going to go to a million, just buy and hold. It can take 10 years, it can take 20 years to go to a million, and anything can happen in 20 years. Okay, just your entire life basically is in 20 years. Okay, so this is what I see in the markets, and right now what I foresee on Bitcoin is this drawing right here. Well, let's try it again. I think it comes back down because Bitcoin dominance is sort of ranging. It ranges here as well. Kind of pisses everybody off, every single trader. They give up. They take down the fear and greed index to about the lowest possible ever, and then they bring it up. Okay. Bitcoin breaks, goes to its all-time high, and then ranges here. People think it's a fake out. They're gonna short it, and then boom, one final leg, and then it hits the targets. Okay. Now, why do I say this? Okay. Notice this price action right here. Okay. This complete. I'm gonna edit this box. I'm gonna go the entire thing down. Okay. When you see this price action from a broader perspective, the entire thing looks like a Wyckoff accumulation, right? And usually in accumulation, what happens is after the spring phase, this sort of like a double spring, and then it accumulates a bit more, then it goes into creek, and then it blasts off. So this is a back test of the previous all-time high. Okay, which is, this back test is also known as in accumulation phase as doubting phase. So they make you doubt, and they keep you struggling, thinking what's gonna happen. They liquidate you up and down, just like what we've seen previously within this last 2 months. Billions of dollars have been liquidated, and then it goes up. So just as it hit and breaks and sits all-time high 85k, every single person who missed out here is gonna want a long all the way up. Okay, so be very cautious of the liquidations. Okay, but this is why I see one final leg up. Basically, is because of all the info, understanding the markets on a global scale, Bitcoin dominance charts, and of course the USDT and the dollar charts. Okay, now notice how this chart has also been drawn. Can't remember when I edited this, but it should have been last year, somewhere around there. Okay, so what we've done here is an ABC correction. This has to happen because this was a huge move up, so it needs to come to complete an ABC, and the C is marked here at 2% because it's the same measured move as this drop here. Okay, the wave A, and from B to C is about the same. Not sure exactly if it's gonna hit to the T, to my percentage at 2.62. I don't know if it hits that, but around there somewhere in that range, I think it can. It can only bounce from, let's say, 2.8. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, but the idea is there. Okay, this is a breakdown from a rising wedge on the weekly chart. This is bearish. This is a back test, and after that this is going to come down. So if there was a way I could short the USDT dominance, I would. Okay, I would definitely would. If that thing comes down by even 5%, altcoins have already moved up 20%. And if Bitcoin dominance comes down by 10%, altcoins are up 50%. So it's a whole thing that's happening. It's a lot to take in, but once you put it together and understand that everything is interlinked in between the USDT dominance, the Bitcoin chart, the Bitcoin dominance, the global markets, the election time, the global economy, when all these aspects are put together bit by bit, it takes a good picture to understand. Okay, and that's what I was trying to bring to you. A year and a half ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that. But hey, okay, now before we go, yesterday I posted a video on one of the altcoins that I'm going to be trading. Okay, notice if you watch that video, okay, do watch that video here. I said yesterday, I'm not taking profits. I have my stop loss at break even. Okay, I was longing this. This has come below my entry price now. Okay, I had sort of guessed to watch the price action and pray to God it actually falls down to my range of $5 to $6. Because if it does, it's going to be a big, massive move to the upside. Because this bullish divergence is going to be extended, and that's going to be gorgeous, absolutely beautiful piece to trade. Because that move, the farther it comes down, the better. The blast is going to be huge. We're talking minimum 100%. So all this is exactly, I gave basically two buy zones for this. Either it comes down near 5 to 6, or the second will be after retest 10 and let it hit $10 and retest 8 to 9. So it's a safe play, either or. We don't miss it. There will be a difference in percentage, but the safest possible trades ever. So do watch the entire video, this one, the update one, the markets, and the previous one. I'm going to do the best I can. And remember, if you don't have as much time, okay, to find trades and all that, I see $10 a month, unlimited trades. Okay, private trading group. It's nothing major, only few people in there. I don't want to make it a whole e-commerce thing, so it's not my idea. That's why I'm keeping it cheap at $10 a month. I'll post the best trades I can see. Okay, call it the second I see it. We'll post the charts with the updates later, so we don't waste the time. And here's, I want you to see 65%, 45%, and these were along basically the dip. I was calling for long at 51k when people were actually shorting, starting to short at 51.49. Okay, so this is how I see the markets and why I'm calling for the plays I'm calling. Okay, and I would love it if you could benefit. Yes, I'm charging, but that's only to pay for the maintenance of the systems. That's really it. You know, you can pay by PayPal, you can pay by crypto, whatever suits you best. I just hope I can help out. Alright guys, that is it. Hopefully I will have some time either this week or next week to do a live stream. Okay, I do want to be online, and we'll see when I can spare some and not have to be bothered by the work, because the agenda is crazy these days. Okay, thank you for your time. Do like and subscribe, share the video with your friends so more people can get the info and nobody gets misguided, and stay safe. Catch you in another video.